that's the name of the game. Keep running, keep striving, maintain the same hunger, that fire, that burning desire. In this long run, I'm reaching higher, live long run, yeah, a long game. Through the struggle, through the pain, I keep my eyes on the prize, never lose sight. In this marathon of life, I'm running through the night.
What's up, everybody? Roll Tide. What's up? What the business is? Good to see everybody. Roll Tide. Hey, welcome to the evening edition of the Long Run with Piano Man. We're just so glad to have you. It's been a long day, but we've had a good time today. And so, what's up, Latoya? Roll Tide to you. Glad to have you for this evening edition. Hello, Susan. Roll Tide to you too. Yes, yes, yes. Good to see everybody. Good to be here. As I did this morning, I would like to say thanks to all of the families. Today is Memorial Day, and thanks to all of the families who shared their loved one who did not make it back with us. We want to thank you for sharing your loved one with us, and we want to say thank you. Uh, Wait a minute. We want to say thank you for the freedoms that we enjoy because of the sacrifice that those soldiers made, and we want to say thank you, and we honor you, and we thank God for you. But to their families, thank you for allowing them to share and to they gave their lives for our freedom, so we can as Americans enjoy what we have. So thank you. All right. I see my producer said I got the wrong layout. Press the second one from the right. It let me see. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, is that better? Is that better, Dwight? I hope so. All right. He said, there you go. Again, welcome to the Long Run with Piano Man. We're gonna get this thing right one of these days. Shout out to Dwight, my producer. Shout out to Susan, Latoya, and to those that are listening or watching and everything. We had a good time this morning, and I'm just grateful for our first edition of the morning run with Piano Man. Had a nice time with Jonathan Lewis talking about recruiting. We have a lot of things happening in the world of recruiting, and a big shout out to no to wait a minute, I got to get his name right. Nolan Wilson, I think that's his name. I told him I was going to shout him out. That's him, Nolan Wilson from Picayune, and they will be playing West Harrison, which is my high school that I teach at, and I'm going to hopefully have Nolan on along with a couple of guys from West Harrison High School. Y'all forgive me, some of my papers here all over the place. My little script and all that kind of stuff is the fan is blowing and all that kind of stuff, not cooperating. But forgive me for my raspiness. My sinuses are acting up. But anyway, we're just so thankful for um, um, the fact that we're able to come back today and do this and have fun with it and all that good stuff. I got a lot of stuff going on today, my lord. But there we go. Now, now, now we're good. Hello, Carla. Good evening. Roll Tide to you, Carla, the one who keeps us all straight. That's it. I'm about to see something here, and I'm about to do something right quick. And uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. Yes. Um, Susan is a go, and you know what that means. All right. And so welcome to the 401k crew. Now, Jonathan hasn't made it yet. Um, um, so we're just waiting on Jonathan to come, and I'm waiting on a couple of others. I invited a couple of others, and I forgot that today was Memorial Day, and some of them are, showing off their grilling skills. And I don't know how they're showing off their grilling skills, and Piano Man is not there to put them all in their place. Cause I can do that. I can do that. Mimi, roll tide, Mimi. That's my friend, y'all, from Twitter. Mimi is a diehard Alabama fan, and everybody make her feel real welcome. That's Mimi, my friend. Her family's real cool. Mimi's good people, and roll tide to you there, sis. Just good to see you. Now, before we go further, something that I forgot to do this morning, and I want to take the time out to do it now. If you've never subscribed to our channel uh, and you're watching, please take the time out to subscribe to the Long Run with Piano Man. They're on YouTube. Subscribe, share, and get someone else to subscribe. We do our best to bring the best content that we can, and um, we're no experts. We just know what we're talking about and everything. And we're just starting. And I realize that we're just starting, but we love it over here. We love what we do. I love interacting with everyone. And so if you've never subscribed to the Long Run with Piano Man, subscribe, and let's just be a part of a great family. And then we also are a part of we hang out with Kangaroo Black. We hang out with B Sharp. We hang out with Jonathan. We hang out with whomever. Whenever they ask us to appear, we appear. But even if they don't, it's still good to hang out and to uh, be a part of a great Bama family. So it's all good in the hood over here. One more other thing, we just ask that when you come into the chat, please be respectful. Please be respectful, because we believe in loving everybody. Now, we may not like the next fan base, but we'll never disrespect you. And so just show us the same, show us the same grace that we're showing you. Because if you don't, now I'm gonna be honest with you. um, it's not Piano Man that you sure enough have to worry about. It's the 401k crew. Okay. It's the 401k crew that you have to worry about. Because, in the words of the late James Brown, Papa don't take no mess, and the 401k crew don't take it. And it doesn't matter who it is. So let's be respectful. Again, please forgive me. My voice is kind of, sinuses are doing what they do in this time of the year. But so, with that being said, we're going to kind of hop to it and everything. Uh, I'm just going to hop right on in because Jonathan is not here yet. So I'm just going to go on to topic number 2. And that's this here. Last week, and even in uh, some of the other uh, venues that carry the Alabama Crimson Tide, they also carry the SEC schedule. They carry it. Every team of the SEC is featured in some way, some form, or another. What got to me is when I read is that no SEC team. Now check this out. Your big ones or your big teams are Bama, LSU, Georgia, Florida. Well, my bad. LSU, Georgia, Texas. Those 4. It was predicted that none of these teams would win 10 ball games. Not any of them would win 10 ball games. Bama won't win 10. Texas won't win 10. Georgia won't win 10. LSU won't win 10. Florida won't win 10. But what they did say is that Bama would win. Your Texas, Bama, Georgia, those three were going to be good for 9.5 games, which means that if it was tilted just a little bit to the right, one of them could possibly get 10 wins, or all three of them could possibly get 10 wins. But it's more toward the middle there of the 9. I think if I and I don't have it with me, and but the next time we come on, I'm going to have that so we can. You got that right, Latoya. Lies they tell. Then the next team would be LSU with 8.5 wins. Now I don't care that much about what they think of Georgia, Texas, LSU, Florida, Tennessee. It doesn't matter to me. Bino, there's our GM, everybody. Bino, good to see you, Bino. Roll Tide to your brother. It just wouldn't. Those other teams don't bother me at all. They don't. I could care less because at the end of the day, Bama is going to play Georgia, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Auburn. That's who I worry about. Only when we play them. I'm not worried about their overall schedule. But in its totality, everybody, what do you think? And this is what I was waiting on Jonathan and some of my other buddies to come on. Why do you think that no one in the SEC will win 10 games? Now, this is one of those times I wish that Matt Moscana from who covers LSU, I wish that I was friends with him, and he would be glad to tell me what was on his mind. And maybe one of these days, and I know a friend of mine who is friends with Matt, maybe he can pull a string to get Matt on here. But the question that I have, first of all, by no team in the SEC winning 10 games, I want to know in the chat, do y'all think that it is a level of, do you think that, is it disrespect? Is it competition? Or is the SEC more balanced? The governor is here, y'all. JB718. Let's say roll tide to him. Roll tide, Governor JB. That's the governor. Bino is the GM, and JB is the governor. And Carla she's everything. Susan is the law enforcement officer. So now that we got that out the way, Dwight is the producer. And so everybody got a role to play. That's the 401k crew. And but anyway, is it disrespect? Is it competition? Or is the SEC balanced? What's up, Ephraim? Ephraim, who said that, was a magazine from, let me see, I'll tell you in just a second. I saw this on a it's called Autograph. And you would have to scroll down. It's an app that I subscribe to, and they cover the SEC. And I subscribed to the Alabama, and it's Autograph. Well, Autograph had written, there was an article concerning the SEC, and that there would be no SEC teams that would win 10 ball games. And I see OG Gil Cruz is in the house. OG Gil, good to see you. Roll Tide, my brother. Roll Tide. Now, Latoya says, I don't care If no other team wins 10 games, but I know Bama will. I'm inclined to agree, Latoya. I'm inclined to agree, but just keeping right here everything SEC, because we don't all play each other. Um, it's hard for me to subscribe to the fact that Bama can't win 10, Georgia can't win 10, Texas can't win 10, when Alabama was even in a downstate last year in a kind of sort of way and won 9. So um I'm wondering what the problem is. But here, let me read what Mimi says. I'm gonna put that on the screen, Mimi. Here we go. She says the SEC seems to cannibalize itself. I'm gonna stop that right there. And Mimi, you are exactly right, because we do have this tendency of beating up on each other. The SEC, here's the catch. The SEC, from week in to week out, year in to year out, puts more in the top 25 than any other conference. That's just the truth. And then, like when you have a season like you had last year, when you had teams like Florida, Vandy, uh, basically Florida and Vandy, who did crack the top 25. So when you sit down and you think about it, you had Bama in the top 25. You had Georgia in the top 25. You had Tennessee in the top 25. You had Vandy in the top 25. You had Florida in the top 25. Need I say more? There was one point, yep, you even had LSU in the top 25. Those teams were in the top 25. And I mean, and the thing about it is we all played each other. So somebody had, as they say, somebody had to win, somebody had to lose. Somebody had to win, somebody had to lose. And so um it it's just one of those things. But in my opinion, I see where someone else said, I'm going to get right to it right there. Someone said, I wanted to talk about, I thought where I read was, there it is. Ephraim said, that's crazy disrespectful. Now, Ephraim, boy, here in the next couple of weeks, I hope to have some more things going, and we'll be able to hear from y'all verbatim for real. But check this out. I'm in agreement too with Ephraim, but I'm in agreement with them from, I'm just gonna say, from another slant. I'm going to say it's from an area of disrespect, because hmm, maybe, just maybe, we just have better players. When you sit down and you think about it for a minute, let me use, okay, now Susan and Carla, don't y'all go nuts when I say this. Let's take a look at the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's take a long look at the Philadelphia Eagles. Who makes up the majority of their starters on both sides of the ball? I'll wait. I'm gonna let somebody else say it. Who make for the Philadelphia Eagles? Who makes up the majority of their starters? Mm-hmm. I'll wait. I will wait and go. And if they say I see they say on certain on certain other social media venues, go argue with your mama. Bama and Georgia. And may I yet ask who just won the Super Bowl? The Eagles. Thank you. The Eagles. I'm not asking to insult anybody's intelligence. I'm proving a point here of what Ephraim is saying is, watch this, disrespectful. How in the world are you going to say that neither Bama nor Georgia can win 10 games, that they won't win 10 games? And wait just a second. Wait just a second. Not meaning to get off the subject here, but hold up. Didn't Philly just add Jahad Campbell, or was I dreaming this? Somebody help me out. Didn't Philadelphia, did, was it them that just drafted Jahad Campbell, or was I dreaming this? Or did he go to Miami somewhere? Somebody help me out, because Piano Man has a tendency to forget at times. Oh, okay. Thank you, Susan. I needed to hear from an Eagles fan. Caller said it was beautiful. Man. And then not only did the Eagles draft Jahad from Bama, if I'm not mistaken, they even drafted somebody else from Georgia. They kept that pipeline going. And you mean to tell me that the SEC, and I'm just going to namely say Bama and Georgia, you mean to tell me that between those two schools, and even though we do play each other, and by the way, we're going to beat Georgia again, you mean to tell me that Bama can't squeeze out 10 wins? What? Y'all, we got to guess. One of my folks is here. Where you at, Coach Carl?
I'm sitting outside.
All right. Let's see. Are you able to get on the screen, or you at the football place?
No, man, heading to the house.
Oh, okay. Okay. Everybody say good evening to Coach Carl.
How
Roll
y'all
Tide.
doing?
Oh man, we're doing good. We already on it. And but Coach Carl, I'm gonna I see KT. What the business is. You know what the business is, KT. Good to see you. Roll Tide. Coach Carl, we on a little subject here that's kind of perturbing me. And maybe by you being such astute and you're well versed in all of this, why is it that these writers are saying that no team in the SEC is going to win 10 games? Take it away, Coach Carl.
Well, one of the reasons is, man, you got a lot of writers out here that really don't like the SEC.
Hmm.
So, for one, when people don't like your conference, they tend to cause different type stir inside of the conference. And when you deny or discredit the work that these college programs been doing over the years, all it does is add more fuel to the fire. And when you're
Hmm.
dealing with a man that's outside of the SEC, nobody outside of the SEC believes in the SEC. So that's probably the main reason why people are discrediting what the SEC is about, because nobody believes the SEC is as solid as it is. Or you can look at it from a different perspective. Piano.
Hmm.
They they're thinking that the SEC is so talented that they're gonna knock off each other.
And that's what Mimi said. We
Unlike,
tend to cannibalize each other.
yeah, unlike the Big Ten and other conferences, they know that probably no one in those conferences gonna actually amount to nothing besides one or two teams. You Big Ten had the Big Four right now, which is Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon, and Michigan. Those are the Big Four that they have with 14 teams in their conference. I don't see too many people beating those four teams on a
Right.
on a consistent basis. Michigan probably be, the one that takes more losses in the top three.
Hmm.
SEC has about 7, 8 top quality teams that can easily get you 9 games a year.
Right.
And even the bottom fillers in the SEC are extremely talented. So maybe they're thinking that we gonna, like you said, cannibalize each other and knock each other off. So I can understand that from that perspective, but I just don't understand that no team in the SEC win 10 games. That seems a little far fetched to me because I'm looking at Georgia and Texas every single year winning 10 games at the
Right.
minimum. Those two teams. Bama this year, I'm looking at Bama winning at least 10 games this year, and then with Tennessee losing a quarterback, I can see them falling off. But LSU, I can see LSU winning 10 games this year. I can see Ole Miss winning 10 games this year. Yeah, I can see Florida winning 10 games this year. I mean, you can't say that nobody in the SEC wins 10 games because the SEC is so talented and so deep in such a deep conference. I can just
Hmm.
see a possibility that any of the top 10 teams in the SEC win 10 games. Any one of them. It may not be the Blue Bloods or it may not be your normal your SEC powers that win 10 games. It can just be an ordinary or unordinary or unorthodox team like South Carolina pops up and win 10, 11 games. You never know with the SEC. That's why it's the best conference in football.
Right.
Everybody say it, the third is that what the fifth conference in the NFL, fifth conference or whatever it is. But man, I mean, I like the way it's going.
Hmm.
I'm glad to see that the SEC has so much competition. Because for years, man, we was just sitting back watching Alabama dominate the SEC.
Hmm.
And earlier, you'll have Florida, you'll have Georgia came in with Kirby. You had LSU bouncing in and out with Les Miles a few years. And you had Joe Brady come through with Joe Burrow and had a historic year with LSU. But you hadn't been seeing that on a consistent basis for the last 17, 18 years, man. It's all been Alabama carrying the SEC. So the parity in the SEC is such a great thing right now. So
Hmm.
if nobody wins 10 games, I wouldn't even be mad because
Right.
the conference is so strong. If we start knocking each other off, we just knock each other off.
And coach, it is what it is because and I read where Ephraim said Alabama football has carried the SEC and college football for 2 decades. And that and the respect, to me, uh uh I think it's when you sit down and answer my question, I think it's a combination of the fact of disrespect on one point, competition on the next, and the balance. So like you said, parity. And uh and that's just one of those things like I said, man, it is what it is. And oh yeah, and you're right, Latoya, Tennessee won 10 games last year. So but like Coach Carl just said, because of the issues with Tennessee, that's who would take the drop off, and LSU would come on up one. They would come up one on the real. They would come up some. But where the where we would have some issues is the fact that LSU plays Bama. Like I said, Bama plays LSU, Bama plays Auburn, Bama plays Oklahoma, Bama plays Tennessee, Vandy, and Georgia. Those are the 6 games. Now, the question is, as far as Bama goes, how many games will Bama win? excuse me, how many games will Bama win? And
I
then
say I say they win 5 out of those 6.
I, you know what, Coach? For some odd reason, I'm going to say this right quick. Dwight says I see 6 teams that can make the SEC championship. I got you, Dwight. Hold that right there, Coach. If the injury bug is good to us this year, I can see Bama running the table in the SEC.
Yeah, I can see them running the table in the country. The schedule is not that bad. I mean, you go to Athens and you go to Auburn. Like those are the 2 toughest games on the schedule. Going to Athens and going to Auburn. Most of the toughest game this year is at home, so they can walk through the schedule pretty rarely, especially with the offensive coordinator that they have right now in Ryan Groves. And the
Mm-hmm.
way hungry the team is, they're not doing all that unnecessary stuff that they were doing last year. So I can
Right.
see easily walking the schedule. And I'm being real with you, Piana. If
Uh-huh.
we pass Georgia, I think it's all downhill until we play Auburn. Like if we get past Georgia and Athens, I don't think it's a school out there that's gonna be able to play with them because they have so much confidence in beating Georgia in Athens, and they won't say this a fluke that they beat them at home on the fluke last year. So they'll be more like it's more like business. I actually think this year coming into this season, all summer long, them kids been working out, and you can see videos and videos of them out in California, them out in Vegas working with pro prospects and everything. I'm thinking, Piana, that it's a business mentality now and not just a fun mentality. And I think they're going away at it like they did in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Come out here, we're gonna handle business, and then we're gonna let the world know that Bama is back, just like they did in 2020.
Exactly, Coach. And wait a minute. I've got to catch a ride with you right here. Let's go back to this Georgia game right quick. I don't know what else we have to do to show this dominance that we have on Georgia. Uh, and every time we played them, we beat them basically everywhere. And that one time they beat us, and you know what? And I know good and well they will not ever admit it, but we were injured all the way around, and they beat us in that national championship, so forth and so on. We got you on that one time. Well, they got us on that one time, but all these other times, we have spanked that in. We spanked it. Now we go into Athens, and as quiet as it is kept. But I'm going to go ahead and say it. And yes, Susan, we do go to South Carolina, but I'm not worried about that, and I'm going to tell you why. We go to Athens, but here's the drawback that folks are missing. First of all, in Georgia, if you look at their transfer portal route, yes, they've had guys coming in, but they've also had a substantial amount of guys to leave. Number two, Georgia, I've said this for the last 2 years. When they won that last championship, you could even tell then that the dominance was leaving. Georgia has not been dominant in 2 years. And it looks like that dominance is not going to be there for them this year. Now, will they be good? Yes. But will they be dominant? No. There is a difference between being good and being dominant. And I believe that what like what let me see, Gil Cruz said, I could see them winning every game as well. There's only one team that worries me, and Gil has been saying that from and Gil, go ahead and put that in the chat who you think that one team is. And uh Gil he's been on that from day one. but I don't see anybody beating us right now. You know, especially if we go out and, like KT said, with the experience, the tempo, and the leadership, if we exhibit all of those right there, Bama runs the table. They run the table. We're not even counting when Mark Richt lost to us. Got to add 2 more losses to that. Exactly. Exactly. Dwight, I got you. Gil said, I'm gonna go ahead and put it. Here's Gil's number one worry, sort of modifying the show a little bit. And Coach Carl, Gil says the LSU game bothers him. That he said that's the one team that worries him. What do you think, Coach?
It don't bother me that much because even though LSU returning a lot, I still don't have that much faith in Nussmeier. Right, Nussmeier can turn around and be the best quarterback in the SEC, and then Nussmeier can easily be the worst. So
Uh-huh.
LSU's whole season depends on what Nussmeier does, and when the benefits of your program solely lies on the quarterback, it could be a terrible season for you because all quarterbacks ain't made equally.
Right, right. And the other thing with that is, and I'm gonna get to JB, but those of you in the chat, uh, if you are fearful of a team who you think Alabama could lose to, put it in the chat. Now, Gil said LSU. I'm going to say in with Coach Carl, I'm not so much worried about LSU too much because they lost too many guys off of their offensive line, and that O line for them was pretty good, but they were not consistent. It's like what Coach Carl said uh, uh, earlier in the chat when he was talking about the 10 wins. Uh, Consistent. LSU was not consistent. They were not. And so when you add that with the O line, coupled with the fact that you don't know how Nussmeier is going to pan out, and if the offensive line is not gelled, who's to say that Nussmeier he may get hurt or something goes wrong, this, that, and the third. So I'm with Coach Carl. I'm not too much worried about LSU. Now, JB brings up an interesting one. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up right there. Coach Carl, JB says South Carolina. Give me your thoughts on that one.
South Carolina is intriguing for the reason that because they had those 2 split ends, man. Dylan Stewart is a monster coming off the end, and that defense played us so tough last year with a dual threat quarterback. So if that kid ever gets it together,
Uh-huh.
and get his feet underneath them, start reading coverages a little bit better, that kid can be special. And that could be one of those places, man, that you go into, that little small stadium in that very beautiful town, I might add.
Yeah.
And they have been doing a whole lot of work in South Carolina, building that program, building that stadium, building those facilities for those kids. That can be one of those days if you walk in South Carolina and you're not ready to play, that South Carolina can put butts on your ass like, well, excuse my French, will put boots to belts to booty. Kind of like Coach Sean said. They can put
Yeah.
belt to
I
and South
understand.
Carolina
You good. You good. You good. Ain't
they
nothing I ain't
very
heard
tough.
before.
They very tough minded program, and they well coached at the same time with
Uh-huh.
being all over there. So I can really see South Carolina giving us, a little flat. I can see that, but
Mhm.
the way this team is locked in all winter, all summer, all winter, all spring, now going into the summer, I just don't see, unless there's something going on behind the scene that we're not seeing, we're not hearing. I don't see these kids going to South Carolina dropping the ball, especially
Right.
early in the year. I
Right.
think I think their ball to drop is when they get too complacent midway through the season or after mid-season, right before LSU or right after LSU, somewhere in between there, they'll get a little complacent, thinking that they arrived and they better than what they really are, and then
Right.
some sneak in there and beat them. Like that's why I say Auburn because they'll come in there off of high on Georgia, and they'll steamroll everybody else after Georgia, and then they'll end up playing LSU. They probably beat LSU by double digits. Now they feeling confident in themselves, and then they go lay an egg against Auburn. That's what I'm seeing. Like
Hmm.
I've seen too many Alabama teams with this type of talent and with this type of expectations, and then they jump out of here and they start killing people, and then when they get a little cocky, like Nick Saban always say, get complacent, and then
Hmm.
they'll die.
Yep. Yep. Just and I'm gonna say this. Shout out to Zach Pitcher Gaming. Roll Tide, my friend. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. And if you have not subscribed to Zach's gaming channel, hey, I want you to do that. Let's help bring his numbers where he really needs them to be. And so Zach is a part of us. So if you have not subscribed to Zach Pitcher Gaming, let's do that. Good to see you. Now, Coach, back to Coach Carl. Now, you bring up something interesting again because Gill said, uh, okay, I got to go back up to something Gill said. Oh, here we go. Gill, there it is. Gill said LSU, South Carolina, and Oklahoma. And you know what? And when you sit down and you sort of think about it, rightfully so, because Oklahoma got out on us last year, but they're coming to Tuscaloosa this year. And either they'll be better than they were last year or they'll still be about the same. But what about Oklahoma? And like I said, the reason I'm going over this and I'm taking the time to go over this is because the media has suggested that no team in the SEC wins 10 games. So, with that being said, I wanted Coach Carl's uh, take on it, and as well as those in the chat, because we're going to go into something else in just a second. But Coach Carl, what about Oklahoma?
I don't see Oklahoma. I don't see Oklahoma coming in Tuscaloosa and beating us simply because last year
Yeah,
Alabama with Oklahoma lightly, and I don't think Caleb Boyd will take anybody lightly this year. I just think
right,
Caleb is locked in. Ryan Groves is locked in. I think Ryan Groves is here to prove a point that everything that happened in Seattle wasn't his responsibility, and I think he ready to let the world know that he is that offensive guru that everybody think he is, and everybody forgot that he was when he went to Seattle. So I think Ryan Groves has something to prove. 1 year, maybe 2 years in Tuscaloosa, he'll be a head coach somewhere. So it's an audition to him for him. I think that Kalen Womack is ready to put his implement on the SEC. He done dominated college football in any aspect of in defense wise everywhere he landed. So I think he ready to put his mark on the SEC. And
hmm
where three severely, I should be head coaches together. You know we have two head coaches there, and then
okay. Well, what about
you have
well, say that again, Coach.
other than you have Mo Linquist, who's a head coach on the defense. I think that defense and that team is stacked for a prime run this year at a national championship game. And I
Hmm.
just them dropping the ball. So I
Right.
Oklahoma beats them. Oklahoma may play them tough. I
Hmm.
just Oklahoma beat them.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I'm gonna put up what Mimi said, and Mimi is exactly right. Mimi said South Carolina is not to be overlooked. Last year they played us really tight. The coach gave several interviews insinuating that they really beat us, don't overlook anyone, especially Barney. I'm not being funny, Mimi, but that's what I call Auburn, Barney. But um, Coach Carl talked about South Carolina a little earlier. Um, Here's my take on South Carolina. Um, they're not to be overlooked. I'm in agreement with Mimi. Um, they're not to be overlooked. But however, on the other point, on the other side of that, I don't believe that South Carolina defensively in certain areas will be as strong as they were last year. They'll be good, don't get me wrong. And by the time they get to Bama, like I said this morning, we are everybody's Super Bowl. We are. We are everybody's Super Bowl. Bama is. And everybody plays us tough until we get that in our spirit as a team, until our team gets that in their spirit as a team, you know, and realize that and play according to that, it will be a team like South Carolina that'll beat you. Ask Clemson. They'll tell you they did it. And even though ask Tennessee, they'll tell you, you know, those teams like South Carolina are one of those teams that will, as I call it, pull a rabbit out the hat. They'll come there and have you thinking that they're down and out and this, that, and the third, and then come in and put that belt to your behind. And you'll remember that for years to come. You'll remember that. So South Carolina would be the team that I do worry about a little bit, but I still don't believe they will beat us. But Coach Carl, Latoya says, now I got to put this up here. I got to put this up here. Check this out, Coach Carl. Where did it go? Here we go. Here we go. Not that one. Here we go. Latoya said, Auburn, because we're in their janky stadium. Coach Carl, is it really that bad?
It's that bad. Like I said earlier, Auburn is the team that's more likely to beat Bama because of that janky stadium. That the stadium, man, is just different. You can beat Auburn to death on the road,
Mhm.
but if you inside Jordan Hare, it's just something about that stadium, man. Those guys play so hard inside that stadium, and it's the pride, man, that they don't want to lose inside that stadium. You
Right.
you're gonna have to kill them. Like in order to beat Auburn, you're gonna have to jump out on top of them, stay on top of them, and just disintegrate them inside their own building. Because if you leave any little glimpse of hope, they coming and they're gonna
Mhm.
continue. They're not gonna quit. They're uber talented. I mean, you can't take anything from them. They have all the talent in America, just like every other SEC team. They are loaded with talent. It's just something about them, man, that once they get outside their city, they just can't put it together that often. And if they get that part down by putting it together consistently, Auburn gonna be hell. They're gonna be hell to
Exactly.
play. So I'm not gonna discredit Auburn at all. I'm not
Right.
gonna discredit South Carolina. The thing about South Carolina is what people don't understand. They snuck up on teams last year. They're not sneaking up on nobody this year. Everybody had their eyes out for South Carolina. They're gonna overlook Tennessee in preparation for South Carolina because South Carolina is no longer a sleeper team. They're well known that they know everybody know that Lenore Sellers is coming.
Right.
They're not
Coach,
sleeping on nobody.
Coach, hold up for me. You need to see some of these comments, man. You talking about Auburn.
I'm
Zach
reading them.
said, Zach said the stadium is cursed. Dr. Crystal said Auburn Stadium is built on a graveyard.
Yeah, I'm reading them.
Oh man, good Lord. Built
I,
on the graveyard.
I don't know if it built on the graveyard or not, but they do come back from the dead over there.
I mean, dang, Dr. Crystal. Shout out to Dr. Crystal. That's you all right with me, Dr. Crystal, but I never heard it was built on the graveyard, somebody's cemetery. Oh boy. But back to what Coach Carl said, I just had to have that good laugh right there. Built on a Zach said it was cursed, and Dr. Crystal said it's built on the graveyard. That's bad, man. And you up there saying, uh, even Coach Saban said that place is cursed. It's cursed. He even said it was cursed. That Jordan Hare is cursed. Hard to win over there. Hard to win.
Yeah,
So
on the first, Alabama and Georgia.
mhm.
Anybody else can go in there and win except Alabama and Georgia. Them two teams go in there and catch hell. Everybody else go in there and sometimes just do what they want to do. We just catch hell. It's just something about that stadium with those two teams. So I guess it goes back to the Bear Brown era, all the way back to when Auburn was going to playing against Bear Brown and playing against whoever that cat was over there in Georgia with Hershey Walker. It just though is I guess that pipeline of fear and pipeline of hatred been inside that stadium for years. So it is what it is, man. We just gotta go in there and get a victory. It's gonna be hard, but it's fair.
Yeah. And Coach Carl, I agree with you. Again, shout out to everyone that is in the chat. OG Gil Cruz, JB, Mimi, Dr. Crystal, Carla, Dwight, Latoya, all of y'all, Zach, all of y'all, everybody that's in the chat. Thank you for being here with us today, and along with Coach Carl. I'm glad that he's here today. The last time that Coach Carl, that goes to show you how much I've grown in the little time I've been doing this, because I caught you straight on up and put you straight on in the crib this time, man. So glad that you're here. Um, but Coach Carl, let me ask you this while you're at it. Um, let's look at a little over and under, and I'm not gonna stay on here too long tonight because I do have something else I have to go do, because I do have to go back to work tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day of school for teachers and all that good stuff. So I've got to go make some preparations for that. But I want to go. Here we go. Um, Over under Florida 6 wins.
Over.
What about Oklahoma? 6 wins over under.
That's gonna be tough. I'll give him over right now.
Okay. Arkansas over under 5 wins.
Let me look at their schedule. Hold on. That's a tough one. I had to pull the Arkansas schedule.
And for those of you in the chat, if you have a uh, if you went to A Day and you have your book right there, your souvenir booklet, you can look in the front there and you will see a copy, I think, of the schedule. I think it's in there, of all of your SEC teams. As a matter of fact, we'll run over it right quick. So, Coach Carl, you looking at the Arkansas?
Yeah, they got Alabama A&M. They should win that one. That's 2 games. 3, they should beat Memphis, Notre Dame, Tennessee. Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Auburn, Mississippi State, Texas, LSU, Missouri.
Under 5.
On
Let me ask this though, Coach Carl, and I believe this is a fair question. In light of what has happened at Tennessee, where do you see their win total in light of what has happened? Now let's look at their schedule. They come out the gate playing Syracuse.
I can see them winning that game.
Okay, and I know they'll beat Eastern Tennessee. I guess that's East Tennessee State.
Yeah,
Okay, then they play Georgia.
they'll lose. Georgia.
Okay, then they got UAB.
They'll beat the UAB.
What about Mississippi State?
I think they'll beat Mississippi State.
They got you. And then they come to us,
They'll lose.
and then they go to Kentucky.
They should beat Kentucky.
All right. Then they play Oklahoma.
Depends on. It's Josh Heupel, man. So with Josh Heupel's offense, I think I give Tennessee the edge over Oklahoma. Because Tennessee have more proven offense than Oklahoma does. So I give Tennessee the edge over Oklahoma now.
Yeah. They'll beat New Mexico State. And then they go to Florida.
I think they'll lose to Florida.
Gotcha. And then they play Vanderbilt.
Which they spend.
Yeah. You know. Vandy won't sneak up on folks this year.
No, sir.
They will not. People will take them serious this year. Gil Cruz said, "Don't sleep on the Qs." I'm inclined to agree. Coach Carl with Gil. Syracuse is no joke. They're really better than what people think they are. I'm wondering. But I'm with Dwight. Now I don't know who he's asking that question about. Is it Tennessee or if he's asking the question for Syracuse? But in this case, in either case, for both of those squads, well, both Syracuse and Tennessee, who's the quarterback is that's the question.
Eli Holston is the quarterback for Syracuse.
Okay.
So
okay.
We know that Syracuse has a quarterback. We're not worrying about Syracuse quarterback situation, but they did lose a lot. Like they had a lot of seniors on that team. And being that they're not one of those traditional power teams, it's gonna be hard to make up for all those seniors. It's kind of like basically like a rebuild. And it's not that easy, man, to just pick up from where you left off and just keep on going. For teams like Syracuse, even though it's a lot of talent up there, it ain't that easy just to pick up where you left off and then keep on going in that area.
Okay. Let me do a couple of more, and I'm gonna pick up on this later on this week, because we, and everybody, we are 96 days away from Florida and FSU. 96 before we invade Doak Walker Stadium, and I know it's gonna be hot down there and everything, but I believe my Alabama, in the words of Kangaroo Black, my Alabama Crimson Tide is gonna be even hotter. So 96 days away. Everybody put that in your calendar. 96 days, and we start the 2025 NCAA football season for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Let's look at I'll tell you what, while we're at it and we're looking at schedules, let's look at Texas. Let's look at Texas right quick.
You can bring me on stage if you want to.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I got you. Okay. There's Coach, y'all. There's Coach. The one, the only, Coach Carl. Let's look at Texas. Ohio State. What you think? Okay. All right. Okay. Ohio State and Texas. Coach, what you think?
Man, that's a tough one. Let's see. I like Arch Manning, but I like Julian Sam more than I like Arch Manning. So I think I'm gonna get the edge to Ohio State.
They the defending champions, and until somebody beat them, you just got to go along with it. So I get that edge to Ohio State. I think Ohio State win by 7.
Okay. Okay. Gill said, Coach, Eli plays for Pittsburgh. I thought that's what you meant. Eli plays for Pittsburgh.
Eli plays at Pittsburgh, so we got Dylan Lonergan then.
Dylan Lonergan plays for Boston College.
I
Ricky
thought one of our
Collins is the starting
quarterback went
quarterback for
Syracuse.
Syracuse. That's what Gill was saying. He's got connections up there. He's a New Yorker to his heart. Him and JB, don't get them started about New York. Please don't. Because
Well, if they don't have neither one of those quarterbacks, then that's easy. That's easy for me. Tennessee all day.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna go back to Texas and Ohio State. That's one of those games where I would say, like I was talking to B Sharp, I wish both of those teams would go jump in the lake somewhere. I don't like neither one of them. I wish that would be the game that would end in a tie. I wish that it would, but I know that it's not. But if it all boils down to it, I'm of the firm persuasion simply because Ohio State is playing at home. I believe they're going to get the win over Texas just because they're playing at home. If they were playing on a neutral field, I would have to give it to Texas. But the other reason I'm going to give it to Ohio State is, and I'm going to have to back up to last year. Texas has proven twice, actually 3 times, that they're not good in big games. When they lost to Washington, they lost twice to Georgia. Big games. And it's almost like Texas finds a way to lose. Now, my problem is with Texas, and Dwight is saying, Coach Carl, he said, you hopping on that Manning bandwagon, however he's putting that. My problem is with Texas is this. Last year, they should have beat Georgia both times that they played. Well, not the first time, because no. My bad. No, they wasn't gonna beat Georgia. Not in that first game, because Georgia went in there and put that belt to them. They wasn't even ready for that. They were not ready for that. But when they played Georgia in that SEC championship game, they should have beat Georgia. They really should have.
Yeah.
But they folded under the pressure. I believe that fold continues when they go to Ohio State, because to me, they have not learned to win a big game, the importance of it. The lights may get too big for them, or get too bright for them, however that goes. But I'm going to have to give the edge to Ohio State simply because they're playing at home. And I don't believe Texas beats them. Now, Texas comes back. Now, look at this schedule. And here's my fuss. Hey, what's up, DSG? Good to see you, my brother.
That down south Georgia boy.
Yeah, that's him. That's him. But look at this schedule. Here they are. San Jose State, UTEP, Sam Houston. They play nobody.
They got a cakewalk
play
schedule.
nobody.
Once you get around Ohio State, it's pretty much easy to go. It's easy going.
Now, then they go to Florida. Then they play Oklahoma.
Red River rivalry.
Yeah.
I can see Oklahoma winning that game.
And that will not surprise me. And I can remember a couple of years ago, Oklahoma beat the brakes off Texas. And Texas was favored to win that game. It wasn't even close. So then they play Oklahoma. They go to Kentucky. They play Mississippi State. They play Vanderbilt. Then they go to Georgia. Arkansas, then they end with Texas A&M. Let's talk about that Georgia game. What do you see? Now I know it's way in November,
It's
but
gonna be that's
but
the late November game, piano by
mhm,
the Georgia quarterback. I think Stockton will be a prime quarterback position at that point. He's gonna struggle at the beginning of the year, but late in the year, I think that kid gonna be primed. Or if he don't catch on faster, they have been a benched him and went on to the freshman. So at some point, either he gonna get better or they gonna move on from him. And if he get better midways of the season, he gonna be hell by the time Texas get around there because Garner Stockton came out of high school was a monster. I mean, the kid can do everything: run, pass, struck you. He can do everything. So if he just learn from his mistakes last year in the playoff and then get better over the spring, get a little better over the summer, coming into the fall, dude is different, man. He can be a really good quarterback, and I can't even lie about that.
mhm. You know what? I'm gonna have to watch Gunner play. I know when Carson Beck got hurt, he was thrown in there, and he did lead Georgia to that SEC victory. But a lot of that had to deal with the fact that Texas made mistakes down the stretch that they shouldn't have because they were supposed to. They should have took Georgia out, but they didn't. So Georgia ended up winning the game. But then when Georgia got in and played Notre Dame, Notre Dame was ready for them. They were a different set of circumstances.
Because Notre Dame is a pass first type defense. They play
Uh-huh.
pass first. Texas didn't play him for the pass. Texas played him for the run, and then
Right.
he threw the ball wide open passes. Then he made a few runs against Texas. It made it a little bit easier. Notre Dame knew that he was a freshman, so we're gonna make
Right.
you run the ball. We're not gonna give you the passes. If you make these passes, they're gonna be in tight windows against some of
Mhm.
these All Americans that we have on the back end. So Notre Dame turned him into a all out passing team, and he just couldn't pick up the passes. He couldn't pick up the blitzes. He couldn't read the coverages. I mean, that's understandable, man, for a freshman that hadn't played
Mhm.
all year long, and you get thrown in
Right.
here and thrown to the wolves at the last minute. So
Mhm.
I can understand that, man. He didn't have enough time to prep for
Right.
a Notre Dame defense. As physical as Notre Dame is, he didn't
Uh-huh.
have time to prep for it. So I
Yeah.
think he'll be better coming into the season. He looked pretty good in the spring game.
Yeah. Um I just look for him to he might be better, but a good defense is going to they're going to learn from that. They're going to see what he brings to the table. Because the one thing that I will say about Gunnar Stockman that you can't say about Carson Beck is that Carson Beck did not want to run that football like that when like if if the opportunity presented itself, he would have rather passed it. But uh Carson didn't want to take off and run, and that's actually what got him hurt. Is that when they bought that blitz to him and everything, he couldn't escape that pressure. They got him. But I'm just saying, uh, don't sleep on Stockton. Don't sleep on it.
Nah,
But
I'm
by the
not gonna
time
sleep
I'm
on
with
him
you
at
though,
all.
by the time he gets to they go to Georgia, Texas goes to Georgia.
By the time you think like this, by the time Stockton get through Alabama and Auburn, he gonna be prime, man. Those gonna be probably the two best defenses you see. Cause
Mhm.
I'm not gonna sit here and tell you no lie. Auburn defense is gonna be fire. I mean fire. And if they play South Carolina early with those two bookends coming in there on the rush, if he
Uh-huh.
can handle that defensive end, Texas is gonna be in trouble, bro.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
serious.
Oh yeah. I see Jonathan said he just done loaded the U-Haul. Jonathan, feel free to come on and jump on in if you want to, brother. Jonathan Lewis, everybody. I see Ohio, go Buckeyes. We were talking about you. I both Coach Carl and I have predicted Ohio State to beat who was that they played in the first ball game? Texas. And I I'm just saying I picked Ohio State simply because they're playing at home. That's it. If they were playing on a neutral field,
I picked them simply because of Jeremiah Smith and what the boy name,
Caleb Downs,
quarterback,
Julian Saying. But you know what, Coach Carl? Now, where is he at? Ohio. I'm just gonna say Ohio. We know about Julian Saying, but who is the other quarterback that they're high on? I was reading about that, and I didn't take my notes down because I was at school in my classroom when I saw this. But there was this guy.
Aaron Nolan, but I think Aaron Nolan hit the transfer portal.
That name doesn't ring a bell. But all I'm saying is, okay, he's not the starter. Now, we're not saying he's the starter. We're not saying he's the starter. That's what the media's saying, Ohio. We're not saying he's the starter. The media's saying that. So don't take that away from either Coach Carl or myself. We're not saying that. The media is putting that out, that Julian Saying is the starter. I'm asking you a question that who is the other quarterback? Because there was this article about him like a couple of weeks ago. Not that we just, I'm like Gil, not that we care anything, but we're talking about them right about now. They're in a conversation. So, who's the other quarterback? Nobody said Julian Saying was the starter. Coach Carl said he likes Saying and everything. I'm just asking who is the other starter. What's up, Anitra? Roll Tide. Good to see you. So, we know, nobody's here, So, but anyway.
St. Clair.
Yeah, okay. And they were talking that they were saying in this other article that I read that this dude may be the starter. There you go. Thank you. May be the starter over Saying. Now, that's what these articles were saying. I'm just repeating what I read. And I said, well, why was Saying so hyped up? But then the St. Clair comes along, and here we are. Ohio State has a quarterback battle on their hand, just like Bama, just like Oklahoma, just like Tennessee. Who else? Just like, well, Georgia has theirs, Texas has theirs, but I just named you. So some of your bigger schools, some of your big squads there, Coach Carl, have quarterback
battle
competition. And that's what's going to make it interesting for all of them.
ESPN predicted that Julian Saying would win the quarterback battle. So we all know ESPN ain't the most credible sources anymore. And I think On3 picked Julian Saying to win the battle too. Now St. Clair has a big arm. I think his arm strength is more than Julian Saying, but I don't think his vision is better than Julian Saying. I think Julian Saying is a better overall player. Now, in my opinion.
Welcome to the stage, everybody. It's the one, the only, the guru, Jonathan Lewis, the moving man.
Bro, I took a shower and I am smoked. Like, I'm already tired of this.
I heard that.
Now I got the U-Haul pack, so I'm ready to go. 2 days, I'll be done and over with. So finally,
man, we happy to see you, Jonathan. We're happy to see you. We're discussing. We sort of modified it a little bit, modified the script a little bit, and everything. But we're talking about this 10-win, this non-10 win prediction that this magazine put out, saying that the no team out of the SEC would win 10 games. What saith ye?
That's ridiculous. Name me the last time the SEC didn't have a team that won 10 games. This is ridiculous. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm a history guy. I'm number one. I'm a better as a better. I go by track record, right? So if the track record says there's going to be a 10-win SEC team every single season for the past 30 years. I'm willing to bet that's probably going to be it. Now, who that's going to be, I don't know. That just tells me Vegas doesn't have any idea who that 10-win team's going to be, or 2 10-win teams. Because in all reality, with this system coming up, just like last year, you're going to have probably 2 to 3, I would say minimum 2 10-win teams, right? So, and then a 9-3 team, maybe 2 or 3 of those. It's math, right? So it's just something that's put in place as far as that goes. But when you look at everything, like, in my opinion, Texas had their shot last year, easiest schedule in the SEC, in my opinion, or one of them. Not much different this season. But the fact that they go to the they go to the shoe, right, in week 1 and play at Ohio State. They have 3 gimme games after that. Then they go to the Swamp. And then the Red River rivalry, obviously playing Oklahoma with Mateer there. Texas is not a given schedule this season, right? So now, if you're asking me who could it be, I do think there's challenges with everybody this year, and there's so many unknowns. I love Ty Simpson, but I don't know what to expect out of Ty Simpson. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't seen the guy play 2, 3, 4 games. Like, so especially when the lights are bright, right? And you got to perform. So we don't know what that looks like, because I was really high on Blake Barnett when he came out, the 5-star out of California, right before Jalen Hurts took his job. You just never know with these guys. But to sit here and think that Lane Kiffin or Steve Sarkisian or, you know what I mean, Kalen DeBoer or Kirby Smart or one of these guys will not have a 10-win season is absurd to me in every way, shape, and form, in my opinion.
And you know what? Like, I think it was one of the, I think it was JB Gill, one of them said in the chat earlier, you got at the way some things are going, and even Coach Carl said it, you've got 6 or 7 teams in the SEC that has the possibility. Dwight even said it, of the possibility of winning 10 games.
Yes.
So for the for a magazine to even suggest that no team in the SEC, I'm like, Ephraim, that's plumb disrespectful.
Yeah,
and not only that, that's dumb. That's kind of
clickbait.
dumb.
It's simply to get people talking, right? So there's no doubt about it, because there's no other. Because when I break this down, when I look at the SEC as a whole, right, it's hard to argue that Alabama doesn't have the chance. It's hard to argue, right, that Texas doesn't have the chance, even though I think their schedule is not as favorable as a lot of people like to suggest, with them going to Columbus and then going to the Swamp's a little tougher than what people think. And I think they're kind of slightly overrated, in my opinion. But that's for a whole other topic. And then you go on to even talk about, we can even talk about Tennessee, right? Joey Aguilar coming in, their quarterback is no stranger to playing football. The dude's put up a ton of yards already. He's got a ton of experience. We don't know what to expect. If he turns out to be great, Tennessee's probably going to have a pretty good season, right? So Ole Miss, Austin Simmons, his potential is through the roof. He's one of the best quarterbacks out of his class, right? He was I believe 3rd or 4th. So the potential for them is right there. The potential for, look, Taylor Green's been overlooked in Arkansas. Like, you know what I mean? Arkansas has that ability to maybe adopt that Sam Pittman style and just grind out wins, right? So if Marcel Reed performs at Texas A&M, Lagway, if his shoulder is healthy at Florida, like, there is so many possibilities. Gunnar Stockton, let's say Gunnar Stockton pans out. If Gunnar Stockton pans out at Georgia and turns into a good quarterback, not a great quarterback, even just a good quarterback, Georgia's probably winning 10 games, right? So, does Diego Pavia get better in Vanderbilt? Of course, I don't think they're going to win 10 games. Me personally, I don't think they repeat what they did last year. But the fact that there is so much talent from top to bottom in the SEC this year, and the possibilities, Mateer at Oklahoma, God help people if Brent Venables' defense looks anything like last year, and then Mateer turns out to be just a Dylan Gabriel, right? So they're going to win some big games if that's the case. So I think the possibility of sitting there saying there's not going to be a 10-win SEC team is absolutely ridiculous, right? So, and then we're not even talking about LSU and, Nussmeier coming back, super experienced. Same thing. So yeah, to sit here and say there's not gonna be 10 wins, I don't know. Kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, and like JB said, it's called clickbait.
Yeah.
And like what you said, it's something that's got us all talking over here at the long run.
Yep.
Because when I read that, I said, "Oh, I'm gonna talk about this here." I said, "I'm gonna talk about this here," because this makes no sense. How you gonna literally say that no one in the SEC wins 10 games? And that's why I asked the question: was it disrespect? Was it competition? Or has the conference shown balance or parity? And that's what Coach Carl was talking about, the parity of things now. Because Mimi said earlier, and I love the word that she used, we tend to cannibalize each other. And that happens year in
True.
and year out. We beat each other up. We actually X each other out one way or another. But for no team to win 10 games, I think that's absolutely ludicrous. So I will ask you this, Jonathan, and I ask Coach Carl, over or under uh Florida 6 wins, 6.5 wins.
Okay, so I want to predicate this answer on something because it
Go ahead.
has to be. I'm going to say over if Lagway's his shoulder is healthy.
Okay.
But look, there's been a lot of noise lately, past couple of days, that his shoulder is not healthy and his arm strength is not back. And if it's not, Florida's in trouble, and they're in deep trouble if his shoulder is not healthy. So with that being said, I think it's over with a healthy Lagway because he's going to surprise some people in Austin or in the swamp against Texas. I'm telling you, he wasn't there last year. All these Texas fans want to bump their chest. Lagway wasn't in that game, and we saw what Lagway can do. The dude is a difference maker. There is no doubt about it. The dude's a baller. So if he's healthy, they're going to make some noise. I think they win more in 6 games. I think if he's not healthy, I think if he's only at 80%, they're not going to win more in 6 games.
And 2 more. Georgia over 9 wins.
I put Georgia almost at 9 wins, to be completely honest with you. I'd have to look at their schedule. I think we're going to beat Georgia this year between the hedges. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a Bama fan. I think the matchup is a problem for Georgia this year. They're breaking in a lot of guys. When you talk about replacing that defense, Malachi Starks and those dudes on the back end. And normally I wouldn't be so worried about it, right, if I'm a Georgia fan. The big worry is there is a difference between Nick Sheridan calling plays and Ryan Grubbs calling plays. And you best believe Ryan Grubbs is not going to show his hand until he gets in that Georgia game because there's no reason to. So that's why I really like Alabama in that game, even though it's between the hedges. But yeah, I think Georgia. It's hard to go against Kirby Smart. It really is. So I'm going to say I'm going to go over 9 wins for Georgia. I'm going to have to, man.
Gotcha.
Just to prove it.
One last one. Bama over or under 9 wins.
I put Alabama at 10 wins this season and getting in the playoffs. I do have them at 10 wins.
Okay. 10 wins. All right. Right quick. Coach Carl, Bama. I think I asked you this, but we talked about so much. Coach Carl, Bama, over or under 9 wins?
Over. Easy.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this, Coach Carl. Give me a specific number that you see.
I'm looking at 10, like Jonathan, maybe 11. I think that LSU Auburn game is the toss-up game. If they beat LSU, they'll probably lose to Auburn. If they lose to LSU, they'll beat Auburn. So I give them 10, maybe 11. I don't think nobody else gonna really sneak up and beat them, but those 2 teams. South Carolina gonna be a test, but they'll be ready for South Carolina. I just think LSU or Ole Miss, somebody gonna sneak up in there and get them. Not LSU or Ole Miss, or LSU or Auburn. Somebody gonna sneak in there and get them. And if neither one of those 2 get them, then they'll be undefeated.
Gotcha.
If Ty Simpson comes out slinging the ball against Florida State, I'm telling you right now, God help the rest of the SEC.
Yeah, it's over. If he comes out and shows his ass LSU, I mean, in the beginning of the season, it's gonna be over, man.
Yeah.
I've said that, and OG Gill has talked about running the table, because my question has been, and when I hear people say Bama 10-2, 11-1, my question has been, who's the bona fide team that will beat Alabama with this particular squad? Who's bona fide to beat them? Now, don't get me wrong, Piano Man ain't dumb now. Anybody can be beat on any given Saturday or Sunday, Friday night. It doesn't matter. You can be beat. But let's be realistically speaking, with what Alabama has, I've already said, as far as the SEC goes, I just believe we're running the table. And that includes the SEC championship game. Now, uh, in the same periodical that I read about no team is winning 10 games, they asked the question as of May, today's the 26th, because I got this last week. So I'm just going to take it to today. As of May the 26th, I'm going to start with Coach Carl. Before a practice, before a game, before anything, I want Coach Carl's early prediction, just hypotheticals, however you want to put it. I want Coach Carl's early prediction. First of all, who will be the surprise team? Who will be the surprise team? And number two, an early prediction of the SEC championship game. Coach Carl.
Okay, let's do it like this. Surprise team, Auburn. Unfortunately, it's Auburn. Auburn has that freeze board. They kept it intact, so and they added a few more pieces to them. So I think Auburn will be a surprise team. But SEC championship game, I can easily see Alabama playing against Georgia twice. In Athens first, in Athens week 4, and then in the SEC championship game, because I think Texas is gonna get a little surprise. Arch Manning is probably gonna be the truth, but I just seen that they lost so much. I don't think Texas has those weapons right now to bounce back from what all they lost. And I think Matthew Golden is probably gonna be the biggest loss that they had in the draft this year. And
Okay.
that's gonna be hard to then cover for Matthew Golden because he was the top.
Okay. But before I go to Jonathan, Coach Carl, I have one more question though. You said Auburn will be the surprise team. But in your opinion, and I know it might be splitting hairs right here, but who's the team that, in Coach Carl's opinion, that everybody is asleep on?
In the SEC,
Yes.
it's probably gonna be Tennessee, man, because they lost Nico. Like that's probably gonna be the biggest sleeper team because Tennessee lost Nico, and nobody really gonna get that kid out of UCLA credit. But like Jonathan said, the kid plays ball, man. The kid been playing for a long time. He's no scrub, and you put him in Josh Heupel's offense, which is it's tailored to quarterback play. It spreads the field so wide, man. It's easy for offense to do anything, and it's hard to defend that wide field. So he put him in a situation, man, that he get to play with Josh Heupel with all that space. He can be a Heisman Trophy candidate, man, in that offense, honestly, because Josh Heupel is that type of quarterback coach and that type of offense coordinator. So Tennessee, to me, would be the biggest sleeper because of Nico, but Auburn would be the biggest surprise.
Okay.
Because with named Jackson Arnold, with those legs, I think he's a better runner than Peyton Thorne. He just got to get a little bit better at passing. So I think that running game Auburn has, man, with them 3 or 4 head monster with a quarterback added to it, can be really, really problematic for the SEC.
Okay. Jonathan.
Something very similar here. I want to go with, when you're talking about surprise team, I've already given this before. I think it's going to be Auburn. I think it's going to be the fact that you got Cam Coleman and Singleton there on the edge. Look, Auburn's got talent. There's certain things you can't deny, and Hugh Freeze has done a good job of acquiring talent and keeping that talent there. I mean, in the Plains, and it's not something easy to do, right?
Mhm.
With the situation going on there, including his own health situation, right? So of him going through his cancer treatment and everything else. So what he's doing already is already kind of wild. But when you talk about a team that's being slept on, I think, look, I think the potential of Mateer coming out and being a Heisman Trophy candidate at Oklahoma, we already know what we're going to get out of Oklahoma's defense. It's going to be good. It's, BV's there. He's got a lot of guys coming back too on that defense. A lot of guys that are proven, right? Yes, you lost, obviously you lost your key components on the back end. I agree with that 100%. But BV's known to reload this stuff. We already know it's going to look good. It's how the offense is going to look. I feel like they were at a huge disadvantage last year on their 7th string wide receivers. 7th. That's ridiculous. Basically, they have water boys out here running routes, right? Essentially is what's going on here. At one point, I believe at one point they had a tight end running routes on the outside. So, I mean, that's a huge disadvantage, right? So 11 different offensive line combinations through the year because of injuries once again. So you bring in a quarterback like Mateer, you bring his offensive coordinator with him, by the way, from Washington State to Oklahoma. And then you look at the style of play that Mateer has and the offense coordinator. I can't remember his name off the top of my head here. But they're going to move the pocket. They roll him. They do a great job of what I thought they should have done with Jalen Milroe, right? Jalen move the pocket. The dude's got a little bit of legs on him. He can throw off platform, right? So, and I feel like that alone right there, Oklahoma will sneak up, and they're definitely going to get some people caught off guard because of last season. People are going to overlook them like, oh, their offense sucks. Jackson Arnold left. All this other stuff, new offense coordinator, you know what I mean? And the facts are that the defense is still going to be in place. And Mateer is he's a serious quarterback. He's no Jackson Arnold. I can put it that way.
Gotcha. Welcome Jermaine to the chat, and welcome to the long run. But Jermaine said Auburn's got mid running backs now. Cobb and Austin wouldn't see the field at Bama. Probably so.
We got studs though at running back. That's the thing about it. We got not many people would see the field at Bama. That's the thing about it.
That's that kind of goes without saying. And but my surprise team. I'm just going to say this, and I'm stepping way out because, like what you said earlier, Jonathan, I'm sort of a better myself, but I'm going to say Ole Miss will be my surprise team.
Yeah.
And they almost like a sleeper team as well, because, and I'm going to remind people of their quarterback when Jackson Dart went down in the Georgia game. The backup quarterback ran up and down the field on Georgia. He's going to be back, and I think that's supposed to be the starter.
Yeah,
and I believe that they kind of pick up where they left off. Now, will they be as explosive as they were last year? I don't think so, but I believe that they will be the surprise team. Well, let's put it like that. They'll be the sleeper team. I'm going to have to agree with both of you about the surprise team is going to be Auburn, simply because of the fact that it's time for them. It's time to do something, because let's just go ahead and be honest about this. I'm of the firm persuasion it might not be publicized right now, but I do believe Hugh Freeze's job is on the line, because he's going to have to produce. It's time. Now, Coach Carl's saying it's not. I believe it is. You got to win. They got to win. They're not winning. For whatever the reason, they're not winning. If he don't win this year, now, how many years Freeze been there? 2
years.
2 years.
Auburn can't afford to throw away another $70,000. I mean, $70 million. So I just don't see him. I think he's gonna do at least 4, because I don't think they can keep getting rid of $70 million like that.
I agree, 100%.
Well, You know what? Money will make you do a lot of stuff, like love. You know, like Al Green said,
Oh
make
my
you do.
God. I love it.
I think Auburn still paying 2 coaches. So.
They're
Okay,
definitely still
Carson,
paying
and
him.
you know, and you know what though? Now, but Auburn is going to be my surprise team, but my SEC championship teams will be um I'm going to say Bama and Texas. I don't think Georgia makes it for a couple of reasons. It's hard to bet against Kirby Smart, and a smart person would not do it. But at this juncture, I don't think that the dominance is there. Now they might, like I said, now it's just May the 26th now. So we might be singing a different tune by September the 26th. You know,
Yeah.
we might be singing a different tune. But or maybe October 26th. Let me put it like that, because that's gonna be after we beat Georgia. But um I believe that it's going to be Bama and Texas in the SEC championship game, and Bama's going to take them out. You know, but the injury bug has to be nice to Bama, because yes, Bama is deep in areas, but not all the way around, and uh that's going to be something to think about. The injury. So, but as of May 26th, I'm just going to say Texas and Bama. Bama wins that and goes into the national championship series. So feel free to put that in your chat there. Again, good to see Ephraim, and good to see Jermaine and everybody. But Jonathan, let's pick up from where we left off this morning about recruiting. And I think you probably got I know you probably got some more things for us. That, you know, because you said earlier today, now things happen on the recruiting trail from one end of the day to the next. So what has happened?
Yeah, so really May 30th is the big deal, obviously, coming in for the first weekend for the official visits and stuff like that. There was somebody dropped a top 5 today. I didn't get a chance to really look into it because, like I said, I've been moving quite a bit. But let me bring up. I always have my notes here. I have to look. Recruiting, like we say, changes as much as you change your underwear, so you gotta keep notes on that stuff. Really, what it comes down to is I've almost look. I don't like saying this stuff, but I feel like Booby Feaster's coming to Tuscaloosa now. I really do. Number one, he started following me today, which always makes me feel a little bit good. Obviously, no. In all seriousness, I do feel like Booby Feaster will be in Tuscaloosa now. At first I was worried that Sedaria Morgan, wanting to come to Bama. It's hard to get 2 blue chip guys in this new era of football, because that's what we're looking at in a reality. You have to pay these guys now, right? It's not as easy as setting one down and saying, hey, wait, we'll develop you, send you to the NFL. That's when you'll make your money. Now it's about these guys are wanting their money. And look, it's all rightfully so deserved, right? So I don't care what anybody says, these players deserve to be paid. So if somebody doesn't want to come here, that's fine. But it's funny that we run in this predicament, in my opinion, on the same weekend, which is the May 30th weekend, of having Booby Feaster here for the red carpet, right? Rolling that out. But also KJ Edwards here as well, which is the number 4 running back in this class, according to On3. And the reason why I say that is because, well, everybody and their mama knows that Xavier Crowell wants to come to Bama, who's the number 3 running back. So you're talking about 2 blue chip running backs, 2 blue chip wide receivers. I personally think, like I told you earlier, Piano Man, I think that if Kalen DeBoer can pull this off, if Courtney Morgan can pull this off and pull both of those guys, this will be something you have to give them credit for. There is no denying that the recruiting is not at the level, yes, I'm saying this, at the level Nick Saban would be recruiting at that point, because you're getting the top of the top at this point, the cream of the crop. The only thing you're missing, in my opinion, at this point would be the defensive lineman. But to be fair, the defensive lineman on a 4.25 does not look like the defensive lineman on a 3.4, right? So you can't compare that. You can't say, well, we're not getting the Quinnen Williams of the world No, because the Quentin Williams of the world wouldn't be in this system, right? So from everything I've read, we wouldn't go after somebody like that. No, we're going after a defensive lineman that plays 3 technique, right? When you're talking about people like James Moore Jr., Nolan Wilson, which me and you talked about, Piano Man, Titan Davis, these guys, these dudes are dogs on the inside that can get after the quarterback, right? We're not just specializing it being big up front, stuffing the run, taking up multiple gaps, whatever that may look like, to let the linebackers just free roam. No, there's more to it than this with this swarm defense. And I'm sure Coach Carl can speak on this 10 times more than me, since I'm not a coach. I've only read this stuff and watched videos of people like Coach Carl making videos on this stuff, or whoever else. But no, I think that's a big one. And I'm only going to talk about the guys coming in on May 30th, like I said, because there's so much going on from here to there. But yeah, Titan Davis is another one. If we get Titan Davis, Nolan Wilson, same thing. And both of those guys, by the way, are favored to come to Bama as of right now. KJ Ford, but the biggest one, in my opinion, everybody wants to talk about Jet Washington. I think Jet Washington is amazing. I'm looking at Sincere Johnson. That's the dude the dude in Ohio State's backyard, the linebacker, right? So, and the reason why I say this is because Sincere Johnson, I think Nick Abrams goes to Michigan personally, right? I did an interview with him, talked to him. Of course, he wouldn't tell me, you know what I mean? No doubt. But I do feel like he's so academically leaning that Michigan makes sense, right? So he's going for accounting. Michigan kind of has that specialty going on. I think he's a Michigan guy. But when you consider the fact that you can have Sincere Johnson with a Xavier Griffin and then possibly a Tank Jones, good luck. Good luck to any offense. I don't know how the quarterback will ever get the ball out of their hands, is the only thing I'm going to say with this defensive line. Good luck.
Well,
I'll just leave it at that.
Coach Carl, chime in.
Their biggest reach, because I think Tank Jones probably going to go to Auburn.
I'm hoping Tank Jones comes to Alabama, but
me too. But I think he probably going to end up at Auburn.
So
I can't argue with that, Jones, 1,000%.
See, Tank doesn't come in until, I believe, I don't have my notes in front of me when Tank comes in, but I know it's not May 30th. So yeah, we're gonna have to roll the red carpet out for him to get him to swing.
Well, come in by himself because he don't want nobody to persuade his decision. But
there you go.
That kid is a must.
Yep. Well, hopefully we can pull a Reuben Foster. We can get him an Auburn tattoo on real quick and get that.
I don't think he's gonna go to this thing to get an Auburn tattoo, but I just think he leaned toward Auburn. Most of the kids from that area in the last few years all went to Auburn. So
yeah,
thinking that Mobile area is pretty much becoming an Auburn area right now. And it's sad because that kid is special.
Wow,
he's different. That's for sure.
Well, Jonathan, the 30th, that's this week. Now, who did you? Let's remind us again of who's coming this week now.
So this weekend, we're gonna have so I'll just run through the rankings real quick. The number 4, and of course, all this is on 3 industry ratings, by the way. So if you want to find out, go look there. Number 4 running back KJ Edwards. His leaning is to Texas right now, so I'll give you the favorites as well. To Texas, Booby Feaster. He was an LSU favorite. I'm starting to doubt that now. I really do. So, but he's out of DeSoto, Texas, by the way. Go watch this dude's film. Number 11 wide receiver Ryan Mosley, who I think is he's out of Carrollton, Georgia. Favorite is Georgia, but Jamarcus Shepard has basically lived in this dude's living room at this point. I think Mosley is possibly going to come over as well. And I think that's where the hand in hand of Feaster and Mosley is going to come into play, is like, will we get Feaster and Mosley? You know what I mean? So, and I think there's a reason why both of those guys are there on the 30th. The number 11 tight end, Xavier Tiller, favorite to Auburn, right out of Fairburn, Georgia, has the top 3 of Auburn, Alabama, and not favorite Georgia, favorite Auburn, has Auburn, Alabama, and Florida State in his top 3. Sorry. Malachi Lee, number 10, offensive tackle out of Hawaii. Me personally, I'm not going to name a favorite on him, and the reason why is because I was hung up on him going to USC, and when he didn't name USC in his top, it completely threw everything I thought about this kid off. So it felt like I didn't know anything at that point. I won't even name a favorite. for him. The number 29 offensive tackle, Deacon Schmidt, favorite, in my opinion, is going to be to Oklahoma out of Windsor, California, or Windsor, Colorado, sorry. And the reason why is because he's basically lived at Oklahoma. I think 5 or 6 visits there. So number 31 offensive tackle, Bryson Cooley out of Laurel, Mississippi, actually favorite, in my opinion, Alabama. Number 4 defensive lineman, Nolan Wilson out of Pecan, Mississippi, which we already talked about. Piano Man, favorite, in my opinion, Alabama. Narrowed the list to Alabama, Ole Miss, Miami, Florida, Auburn. I think Miami and Florida is kind of just entertaining. They were late offers. I think Alabama is the heavy favorite with Wilson, in my opinion. Number 9, defensive lineman Titan Davis out of St. Louis, Missouri. I do believe Alabama is a favorite, but it's not a heavy favorite. I do believe Michigan, Penn State, and USC, all those guys are in on this kid. Number 48, defensive lineman J.J. Finch out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Favorite, LSU. I think it's pretty much LSU all the way, in my opinion. They've been setting the pace there. Number 10, edge Kevin K.J. Ford. The reason why I think he's the A&M is because Alabama tends to do this with some of these kids, and this will be the second kid in a row I think we'll make this mistake on, is recruiting him for a specific position. Because when I talked to, I interviewed Nick Abrams the second, he said what he loved about Alabama's defense is the versatility and the fact that he won't be constricted to one position as a linebacker. Well, we want him only to play wolf at this point, and we've kind of made that known. And ever since that was made known, we've kind of fell behind, right? So, and that would be 2 players in a row that's happened, by the way. But Oklahoma is gaining a lot of steam, by the way, on KJ Ford. So Oklahoma's in the running, I think, with A&M there. Sincere Johnson, I don't care what anybody says. I'm still going to say Ohio State's the favorite. It's hard to think otherwise, but Alabama's neck and neck with them. Braden Rouse, number 7 linebacker out of Marietta, Georgia, favorite to Tennessee, in my opinion. And I think we're targeting too many linebackers for him to come to Alabama, and Tennessee needs a guy like this. And then the last guy, number 3 safety in the class, Jet Washington out of obviously Las Vegas, Nevada. My personal opinion, favorite is Oregon. I think Alabama is neck and neck with them, but I think we have a huge advantage of the fact that how many safeties can you say Oregon has put through and developed? You know what I mean? So maybe the last one's Chung, right, for the Patriots. He's the last one I could possibly think of, and I think Alabama can leverage that, and they are leveraging that according to On3. So, yeah, total of 14 players. Definitely a lot of high-profile guys this weekend. So,
wow, and you said this is per On3, right?
Yeah, a lot of this information came from On3.
Okay.
My
Go ahead, Jonathan.
My favorites, I kind of lean towards me. Yeah, a lot of them have their own, you know what I mean? On3 would give you their favorite, but I tend to pay a lot of attention to Instagram, pay a lot of attention. A lot of times those indicators will be there. So it's small little things. Sometimes it's false, and they know that, and they kind of put them out there. But talking to them a lot as well.
Okay. I'm looking forward, Jonathan, to next week. You come in with more information. I'm looking forward to that. And you too, Coach Carl. I'm looking forward to just to hearing what's out there, because I said this on the morning run this morning. Today, I said that recruiting and things like that has really never been my grit, and because I'm more or less like talking about football after the fact, if you will, after they've gotten there. But listening to you all and everything, and it has piqued my interest in recruiting a little more. And even though I teach at a high school, Coach Carl, you'd be glad to know that I designed 2 plays for the high school football team, and they're running both of them.
Awesome.
So, yeah. So, but you all have given me that the confidence to interview, to look at, and to talk to, and everything. And Jonathan and Coach Carl, I'm gonna send some guys y'all's way for y'all to interview from my high school that I teach at, and y'all get a feel of them as well. Now, one of the guys that I'm going to send, his heart, I'm gonna be honest with you, his heart is on LSU. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Of course, I interview anybody.
He wants to go to LSU. That's his, and I believe that if they ever looked at him, he has the grades and everything to go. His academic pedigree is like out this world. So if they looked at him, but like I told you all earlier, and Jonathan, I said this to you earlier this morning, because I know that you have connections. Coach Carl, I know you have connections, but I don't have the connections. So I'm not going to be like a lot of folks and just pretend that I know and be a charlatan about all of this. No, I'll say I don't know, but I can put you in on with somebody who does know, and I can just say, hey, I just help guide you in the right direction, and be thankful that I was able to help in that way, as opposed to just hurting a student athlete all the way around. So I got a couple of guys I'm gonna, get y'all the information about and let y'all uh you know check them out for yourself. And so with that being said, uh I got about 5 minutes to do this. This is a segment of the show that I've inserted, and it's called Kiss It Goodbye. It's called Kiss It Goodbye. Now, and now Jonathan just kind of worked with me here because I sort of gave it away this morning when I did the thing on turning the page.
Oh yeah, I get
I did a thing about turning the page this morning. But as I got to thinking about that first, what I opened up turning the page with about, being in a relationship with someone who never could appreciate the present because they were too busy either glorifying their ex or, demeaning their ex, and they never could appreciate what they had. And, me and her eventually broke up and all that good stuff. So there's an old song from back in the 70s that just said, na 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 na, hey, 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 kiss them goodbye, And when I was little growing up, I couldn't understand what you mean by kiss him goodbye. What are you talking about? Until I got older. So, Jonathan, we are on the verge of 96 days away from the opening kickoff. What are you kissing goodbye from last season?
the negativity about Jalen Milroe. Can we move on past this and stop talking about Jalen Milroe and let's just support whoever the quarterback is? My God, can we just move on and do that?
The negativity of Jalen Milroe. That's what I. Anyway, I'm not even gonna steal your shine on that because I am in total agreement. Coach Carl, what are you kissing goodbye from last season?
Terrible offensive play caller. Terrible offensive play caller.
That was my number 2.
For those of you in the chat, what are you kissing goodbye?
Oh man,
from the last season? Coach Carl said terrible play calling. Coach Carl, you and Jonathan, y'all went from one extreme to the next one.
yeah, we did. Muted.
Terrible play calling.
Let's just be real, Piano.
Yeah.
Everybody in the chat should be saying goodbye to terrible offensive play caller. Everybody in the chat should say goodbye.
Goodbye to terrible play calling.
Oh yeah, it's on point too. Penalties. My God.
Yes. Yes. Terrible play calling, trashing Jalen Milroe, penalties, anything else. Because I have my own. I'm gonna give a few more before we go off. I'm gonna give somebody a chance to, kissing 9 and 4 season bye. Thank you, Susan. Because we're 0-0 now.
Them terrible dancing videos all year long.
Brian Kelly. Oh, you're talking about player dancing videos.
Here's what I'm kissing goodbye. I'm kissing goodbye the comparison of Kalen DeBoer with Nick Saban. I'm goodbye.
Yeah.
Kissing it goodbye. You can't compare them. The men are different. The era is different. Their attitude, their approach is different. You've got to embrace what you have now. Coach Saban, hear me, Bama fans that are still hoping that he's going to walk back through that door, you know, as coach. Kiss it goodbye. He's not coming back. We have Coach Kalen DeBoer and staff. Not only am I going to kiss goodbye Trash and Jalen Milroe, not only am I going to kiss goodbye bad play calling, not only am I going to kiss goodbye to penalties and all that kind of stuff. What else I'm going to kiss goodbye and it to is complacency after beating Georgia. Bye. Because if you think about it, that's when the wheels fell off. We got the buying blinging and we got to doing this and we got to be number one in the country and everything. And the next week we got out there and got just period toe up.
Dump truck.
I'm serious. It's time to put all of that behind us now. We are on the verge of a new season. And as I said, 96 days away from Bama versus FSU. Can we kiss this goodbye for the last time? Can we kiss it goodbye? Can we stop with the Jalen Milroe stuff? Can we stop with the Kalen DeBoer comparisons to Nick Saban? Can we stop with the terrible play calling? Can we stop with the penalties? Can we stop with the complacency? Can we stop? Oh, no. I better not say that one because that might start an uprising. Can we just stop?
Can we stop not supporting our players?
Exactly. Can we stop not supporting them? Can we stop?
Can we stop killing our players when they make a mistake?
Wait a minute, Coach Cole. I'm glad you put that out. I'm glad you said that because even we as grown-ups, we still make mistakes too. It might not be on the football field, but we make them. And can we stop those of you that have never played the game, stop pretending that you have. Stop pretending that you have. You don't know an out route from a crossover.
Dang.
You don't know your head from third base. Come on now. Can we stop with the foolishness? Let's support the team. And can we also stop? One more thing, Coach Carl and Jonathan, and then we're going to get where you're from. We're going to get out of here. Can we stop putting people down when we do come down on our team? It don't make us fair weather fans. It makes us somebody who cares about our team, and we know they can do better, but they're not playing up to their capability. Oh, it's bound to happen at one point or another. But don't be so hard on them and then leave those of us alone because we do have a right to our opinion. It's our opinion. It's not right or wrong. It's just an opinion. So can we kiss it goodbye? Can we kiss last season goodbye? And can we embrace the new season? I don't know about y'all, but I'm excited about it. 96 days. I can't wait. I'm ordering t-shirts and a new hat and all kinds of stuff. I'm ready. I've already told some folks I'm planning on Coach Carr coming to the second ball game, which will be the first home game and everything. So that's my plan. That's the plan, the Lord willing. I plan on being there celebrating the Alabama Crimson Tide. So right quick, Jonathan, tell us again where we can find you. Thank you for coming, my brother. I'm looking forward to having you back this time next week, sir. Talking about recruiting. You'll be in T-Town. You should be moved and all the way settled in. And listen, if you need some help moving some furniture, I know some people that know some people because I would come and help you, but you know how my arthritis is.
No, I appreciate it. No, I got that. I'll be honest with you. I think I got to the point of laziness to where I'm like, I'm going to sell half my furniture and buy new furniture when I get there.
Oh God.
No. In all seriousness, no, I'm not moving a whole lot of stuff when it comes to it. I got plenty of help, but I definitely appreciate it. But yeah, you can find me on the Bama Standard Network, obviously there, college football chatter every Friday night, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. And also on there talking Inside Bama Recruiting, where I cover a lot of recruiting and stuff like that. Yeah, and obviously appreciate you, Piano Man, having me on here. Appreciate you, Coach Carl. Talking football, obviously trying to learn here, and everybody in the comment section, from Susan, Ephraim, CMB, everybody in here, Jermaine. You know what I mean? So appreciate the comments, questions, all that good stuff, and all the support.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. And Coach Carl.
Hey man, I'm the same like Jonathan, man. You can find me wherever the mic hits, man. Some nights some nights I get on, some nights I don't. Some nights I'm in a chat with you guys. But my podcast is On the Block Sports Talk with Coach Carl. I'm on X, Twitter as Coach KD Taylor. Appreciate you inviting me on, Piano. I saw you were here, man. I was riding the road. I was like, dang, Piano Man up there by himself. Let me jump on and help my brother out. So I just
Appreciate
jumped
that.
on and helped you out, my brother. Any
Yes,
chance
sir.
I get, I'll come on and join you, man, because I can't do a whole lot right now on my channel because we still in the midst of football. So I actually get a break. I think we're gonna go back to football practice on June the 2nd, so I get a break. And Jonathan, being that you that recruiting insider, man, that big guy that we need on our team, man. We appreciate you showing up. And I got a few
There are
prospects, man.
quesadillas,
I'ma
and
send
then
that
there's
way.
Zaxby's giant chicken finger quesadillas, packed with their famous chicken
What is that?
fingers, cheese, and a whole lot of sauce.
Piano Man got
We're gonna need more napkins.
Hold up, what's going
Zaxby's
on
giant
there?
chicken finger
Something
quesadillas.
banging.
Who's got the sauce?
But
You on
anyway,
a special Monday edition of the Opening Kick, as Smoke gave you a little.
What we got this going on?
If you're on the
You
barbecue
subscribe to
grill,
somebody.
if you're with family on this evening, we want to say
Oh,
thank
man.
you. More importantly, we want to thank all
I
of the
don't
veterans
even know where that's coming
of our
from.
country to give us the freedom we have on this
Hold
day
up.
to be hooligans, to
Yeah.
cook out, to grill, be with our family,
Wow.
drink a beer, do a show, talk a little
How in
sports.
the world is
We
that going
thank you
on?
from the bottom of our
I
hearts.
learned something new.
Serve on this day.
Let me
spend
jump out
time
to see if they accidentally jumped
Love,
on my
Bob,
stream,
roll,
just in
roll,
case.
probably
roll,
because
roll,
Jonathan's in the
roll.
studio.
We're gonna give a little love out of the
Yeah,
gate.
hang on. I'm going to jump out.
Go to
Yeah.
winsports.com today. One of our sponsors keeps us going here at the
No.
Standard. Tell them
That ain't
promo
it.
code the Standard and get 20%
Well,
off. Your
We're
title.
gonna end here
Again,
because
we're
we're
here to
being
kill
invaded.
Okay, I got my man Smoke Dixon. What is up, good sir?
What's
I
happening?
know I didn't do it.
Hey,
What,
that's
man, you got
great, man.
anything on the grill today?
We got invaded.
No,
by
I went
Bama
by a
stand-up
neighbor's
baby,
house.
so
The only thing
right.
that happened is
She said I'm being invaded by talking about I'm eating Zaxby's. Man, I don't even eat Zaxby's, but have at it, man. But you can find me here. You know where to find me. But listen, right
Might have
quick,
got screwed here
next
in this
week,
recent
I will be back
We'll talk
on
about
2
that, and
times
that's-
on Monday, and the
that
rest
might
of the
fly
week
right into our
I
next
will
topic
be
for
on
everybody.
on the morning run from 8 to 9. I will not have a show tomorrow, but Wednesday starting at 8 o'clock a.m. from 8 to 9. The rest of the week, I will be back here twice on next Monday. Now listen, as I always end, Coach Carl, everybody, I'm no expert, but I know what I'm talking about.
I don't know if you've been
So
paying
roll tide,
attention,
everybody.
but
Y'all have a great
Oklahoma
evening, and the
City
Lord
Thunder
willing, I
are
will see you
they're
Wednesday morning at
one of the
8
best ranked
a.m.
organizations. in
Roll
sports.
tide,
They
everybody.
lose